I also saw in Kenya was poverty firsthand. And it looked a lot different in person than it did on TV because now it had a name and it had a face. I didn't know this, but many girls didn't have the opportunity to go to school, let alone secondary or university. They weren't even going to elementary school because they're expected to stay home and help out with the chores around the house. And they're expected to collect water from the river 3 times a day. And they're collecting from this river that is sometimes 2 or 3 hours away each way. I had the opportunity to help one of the mamas carry water back to her house, and it's a pretty humbling experience when we here in North America can go to the tap or open a bottle of water and we've got clean water. Then to carry an 80-pound jerry can on your head, knowing that's all the water they would have for the afternoon. If they wanted water for the evening, they would have to walk the 2 or 3 hours back to the river, and the 2 or 3 hours back, and then decide. If you ever had the chance to hear the Kielburgers speak or meet them, they have this ability to plant a seed until it grows and it grows and it grows until it turns into a big old tree and you can't do anything but act on it. So I went back to him and I said, Craig, actually I think this is a cool idea. Number one of the reasons that I was really passionate about it is that the last 4 years I've been telling people you need to get involved, you need to fundraise, you need to run a campaign. And it didn't seem right for me to continue to say that when I had never done it myself. I thought I need to do the legwork, so to speak, and do it as well. So I can now say, oh, I know it's hard, but I've done it too, and if I can do it, so can you. So I went back to him and said, cool, Craig, yes, let's climb the mountain, but I don't want to just climb the mountain because that's boring. Let's create a campaign around it. Let's raise some money. And I said, the second thing, if we're going to do this, it's going to be the hardest thing that I've ever done. I'm not going to do it with somebody I don't know. It's going to be with my 2 best friends, or it's not going to happen at all. And he said, great, go do it. So we came up with a campaign called Redefine Possible. And I want to show you a quick video of the reason why we chose to do what we did. Let's skip past that. That wasn't the case. I was doing about 80% of my hands and about 20% of my wheelchair. And contrary to popular belief, your arms aren't meant to be walked on. And well, let's be honest, I can't really afford to lose any more limbs at this point. So I really wanted to take care of my body. Not only that, but I've had a previous shoulder injury where I tore my rotator cuff about 10 years ago. Had to have the surgery. It was terrible. Couldn't walk for 2 months. So I need to take care of all of this. Now I was determined to get to the top, but halfway through our guide Paul, who's in this photo, said, look Spence, if you're actually going to make it to the top and back down again, you're going to need to let us help you a bit. And admittedly, part of me was like, oh, thank goodness. And the other part was like, no way, I'm going to do this on my own. But it was around that time that literally my mind was waging war with my body. My wrists were sore, my elbows were sore, my shoulders were throbbing. My mom's voice in the back of my head was saying, please take care of yourself and listen to what that guy tells you, because he is the expert. And so I said, okay. So I relinquished a bit. I still walked almost more than half the day, every single day, but then a few times I let my buddies push me. A few times I let them literally carry me above their head. In fact, on summit day, the porters literally strapped me in a blanket on their back, tied me up, and carried me on their back, part of the way up the mountain as well, because it was dark and it was cold and it was steep. And I'll never forget, I was strapped to this guy's back, and my buddy Dave, who I was climbing with, came up behind me, and he said, look Spence, I'm only going to say this to you once, but you look really cute. Tied to this guy's back. My friend David's a dad, he's got 2 kids, so I think that's really where that came from. But I had to really let go and allow others to help me get to the top. Now, what was so crazy is that we knew that I was going to need help up the mountain. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I don't have any legs. We're climbing a mountain. Of course, I'm going to need help. But what I didn't anticipate is that on summit day, the roles would be reversed, and my buddies were actually going to need me. I was in that small percentage of people that altitude sickness didn't bother me at all, but around 18,000 feet, both David and Alex, my 2 best friends, got hit hard with headache, dizziness. They would literally walk and then vomit. A few times, my buddy Alex, who's on his knees in between us there, he's a really strong guy. At one point he fell and we literally had to help him back up. And as I watched my support system literally fall to their knees, I thought, well, maybe this is it. Maybe we just quit and go back. Like, this isn't worth it. And the second thing I thought, that was the first day, literally, the first day in my entire life where I wish that I had legs. So like my friends had done for me, I could now carry them. But obviously, it's not something I can do. So I decided to focus on what I could do. And I stood in between them. on my hands in the snow and ice, and this is what happened next. It's bittersweet, and we collapsed and cried because we're a group of crybabies and we're not embarrassed. But when we got to the top, for us it was a symbol that I thought, this is for anybody who's ever felt lost. We made it to the top of Kilimanjaro. Anything's possible. This is for anybody who's ever felt like they didn't belong, or been bullied, or has a disability. Anything is possible. Keep climbing. And this is for anybody who ever thought they couldn't make a difference in the world. We're now at the top of the tallest mountain in Africa. There's always a path. Keep climbing. And that's really what I want to leave you guys with tonight. Is that life is going to throw you some crazy curveballs, and there's going to be a lot of mountains that you're going to have to climb individually and together. But there's always a path, and to keep climbing. If I, Spencer West, who was told could never walk or be a functioning member of society, can climb the largest mountain in Africa and raise over $500,000 for clean water to give back to society, what more can you all do to make a difference in the world? I've done the legwork, literally. It's now up to you, because I can't do this by myself. We can't make our global and local community, it's not just going to repair itself. It has to start with us. And it has to start right here tonight. I want to leave you with some simple actions, some things that you guys can start to do right here as a community, and as students, and as families, and as parents, to start making a difference. The first one is really easy. It's just to be happy every day. And again, that doesn't mean smiles and hugs, which of course are nice, but it means to be thankful for the things that we've been given. Because I truly believe when we start to recognize what we have to be thankful for, we also recognize what we have to give back. So for those of you that maybe have Facebook or Twitter, maybe you post one thing that you're thankful for each week. Super simple. Next one is to just take a risk and do something. If I had never gone to Kenya, I would have never found my voice. If I had never found my voice, I would have never climbed the largest mountain in Africa and raised over $500,000 for clean water and joined the fundraising ranks like so many of you have done for local and global charities. We have to be willing to take a risk. Tonight is all about getting to know what's happening in the community, getting to know what's happening on campus. There's so many opportunities for you guys to get involved. There's an incredible booth here where you can learn about what's happening right here at the University of Manitoba. My friend Janice and I have a table right next to it where if you want to get involved with Free the Children or Me to We, or interested in coming on a trip, definitely come chat with us after. There's so many local organizations right here in your local. I don't know if you know this, but I don't have any legs. And she said, well, of course I know that. But she said, Spencer, you are the least handicapped person I know. And not only that, you should be parking your car in a regular spot, just like everybody else. Why do you get to take advantage of the system, you jerk? And when she said that to me, I thought, yeah, she's kind of right. I didn't need to park at a handicap spot. I was only parking there because it was a privilege that was given to me because I didn't have any legs. I could park in a regular spot and be just fine. By parking in a regular spot, I could show my community that not only was I a functioning member of society, but that I didn't need these privileges that were given to me. I was privileged enough already without having legs. I don't have to spend money on socks, on shoes, on pedicures. Those are privileges to me. I think that's awesome. And that's when I begin to realize there's so many people around me that have been standing up this entire time that I never noticed before. If we look back throughout history, the thousands of people that stood up in Tiananmen Square urging for democratic reform in Beijing, or the thousands of people that stood up at the Battle of Seattle in the state of Washington urging the World Trade Organization. Best piece of advice. Goodness, you stumped me. I think the best piece of advice, I think it would have to go back to my parents, and to focus on what you can do instead of what you can't do. That's what I'd say. I'm sorry that I went over time.